kind of worked on this yesterday in a clay class, and as I was coming up with something to do, I knew she was going to give us the idea to do an animal. And in the morning call on with Steve Nobel, Egypt came up and the Sphinx, and I thought, oh, that's the animal. And my internets weren't working at all, and my phones. It's been a terrible comedy of I think interference. But I was able to look at some pictures of the Sphinx and pull them up on a tablet device before class, and I had different pictures, and I was merging them and trying to play. And I really was looking for this, pride, fierce, strong stance. And, I'm not done with this, but I like it. And I had to giggle at myself because sometimes we go all the way around just to get back where we were in the beginning. And as I finished something, I'm like, wait a minute, this looks just like Nala from the Lion King. And so anyway, a roundabout way to come back to something that I don't know if it's Pixar, but something that other artists had already developed. But the process to do it myself is so worth it. And I'm not done. And this sticking through it is what we call an armament. And I took a class with a person who I would not ever purchase art from. And I really dislike after taking that class because I found her comments shady and her inconsistency obvious, and that she had some preconceived notion. I do have a bit of a learning disability and a different approach and a dyslexia in my language. I'm incredible and brilliant and bright, and my art is amazing, but I'm not for everybody. That's definitely true. One of the comments she seemed to be disparaging was like art on the back of paintings, and I had a young man mention that a person, we had spent a lot of money, his mother had spent a lot of money, and I had spent a lot of money, and he was showing me a field trip. Anyway, not every day is for class. Anyway, the kid had mentioned that look at the back of the posters. He put stuff on the back. And it's interesting. I had been doing that, and now I just kind of do it as a point, even if I have a sculpture teacher that seems to belittle or tell us that the ways of the past, when women were sweet and simpering and yet vicious towards each other, that those days were okay, and they really aren't. And so I draw in my paintings. And I woke up this morning just like, I've been going through this for a few weeks, but realizing that my art in my house, I've got enough that it is a cabin. It is a totally different experience to have them out and to sleep in this room with them. And I do put things on the back, and it's meaningful. And as I was looking at the side of one today, we'll see if it works, I realized it's like a holograph, this particular painting. If you look at any piece of it, it's meaningful. And every day, like this little kind of Pachamama creature is not something I painted in intentionally. That's part of a tree. And yeah, I was in trance when I did it. And yeah, there's stuff on the back of it. And yeah, some white artist named Carol with a K, one word, might make fun of my style. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and live through that. Anyway, one of the things I like about painting the sides and the back is like this just popped up, this kind of hooded figure. A few minutes ago, I was realizing that there were many faces in this. That stuff happens for me because it's a hologram. It's holographic. I go into trance. I feel the paint. The paint feels me. And yeah, there's a ton of stuff on the back. Part of it is because as I'm doing these things, I get like these major epiphanies. And it's like I cannot hold all the knowledge that I am feeling and reading. And I will record it here. And then I tell my children, many of these paintings will never be for sale, but maybe prints of them will. And this particular one, I try to point out to my kids, or if I think they might be with this person they're dating, I'll mention to them because the kids may or may not remember. But if I hope I go first and they live a lot longer and we all get to live a long time. And at some point they might enjoy. And if they're ever down or stuck or feeling something, they're the keys to the universe in this painting. And I think probably every one of these, the wood doesn't go on this one, but it does have some attachments. Oh. So the wood isn't a permanent attachment, but this piece is, and it says something on here, oh, not for sale ever. And that's my values, my tastes, my friends, myself, etc. Anyway, shout out to all artists, even Carol, one word with a K. Wow, her bronze is great. It's a lot like what people were doing in the Beatrix Potter days, but, less brave in this modern time. As brave if she'd lived 100 years ago. People like her like to say this stuff about me, is that I'm living in the wrong time. I'd like to phrase that back to you and say, maybe it's you living in the wrong time. Anyway, this painting will not ever be for sale, but I think prints of it could be. Anyway, there's a lot of meaning in different pieces of it. and it can be used for a lot of things. And this is just one. I'll just show you up here. It says something Buddha. Oh, the Buddha to the right, Nagarjuna to the left. That's all I'm going to tell you right now, but I'll just glance at the back. Oh my gosh, there's just the most amazing things back here. I cannot do it justice today. Anyway, some teacher named Carol with a K was giving me shade yesterday about several things. And we had this moment where she had these free coupons for a sculpture festival, and she was going to give, and she'd let us know that that was special, and it is. And it is sweet of her. And I'm sorry she lives in a world where she has to say this is special as she's handing him out, because she's a white woman and she's not going to get thanked otherwise. But for her to try to hold that bar down for the rest of us is also ridiculous. Anyway, thanks, Carol, for the free entry into the sculpture festival. I won't be buying from her booth, but there are many other artists that I've already also fallen in love with their work, and it's advanced, it's strong, and it's worth the thousands of dollars. And they won some awards in our state, and there's some real humanist artists that are able to move beyond the Beatrix Potter, which is admittedly wonderful, into something even more special. And my art is definitely not for everybody.